Okay, so let's talk about one of my favorite topics today, blending. Blending sounds in words is a crucial skill for reading, as you probably already know, but unfortunately, so many children struggle with this. Okay, first of all, did you know that there are many ways to teach blending? You're probably used to the typical at, mat, up, map. But tell me, what kind of results are you getting with this technique? I'd be very curious to know if you notice that by the time your child gets to the last sound in a word, he or she has forgotten all about the first one. Or maybe he just or she just can't figure out how to blend those sounds, how to string all of the sounds together. If so, don't panic. This is a very common problem. So let's talk about alternative blending techniques that you can use that can come to the rescue if you're in one of these situations. Let's talk about continuous blending, also referred to as smooth blending, and successive blending, also known as cumulative blending or additive blending. What are these techniques all about? And also, how are they different from each other, as I think many people actually confuse them. Okay, let's start with continuous blending or smooth blending. This is what I call the hold the sound technique. So you basically hold the sound you're saying until you say the next one. The result is that you end up saying the word without even realizing that you are. So let's put an example. Mat, map. You see how you end up saying the actual word? Now let's compare this to the traditional way to go about blending, what I call choppy blending. At, mat, up, map. You see how here there is an actual extra step that requires children to go back to the first sound in a word, remember the sounds in order, and pulling the sounds together. It looks like nothing, but we're asking them to do three things. It is a lot of effort for children. They can easily overwhelm their working memory because there are just too many things to do at the same time, and these are not easy things for them to do. Okay, now let's see how continuous blending, remember the hold the sound technique, mat, map, right, is different from successive blending. This is another technique that can come to the rescue, okay? If continuous blending is our hold the sound technique, successive blending is what I call the say as you see technique, okay? It's normally sort of reserved for struggling readers, so maybe you can use continuous blending first, and if it doesn't work, then try successive blending, or well, the other way around, whatever works for you. Anyway, let's do a demonstration now of how successive blending works. Okay, say this is the target word, mat. You're going to present your words like this. You're going to ask your kid to blend these two sounds first. So, ma. Okay, we already have ma. Don't forget about ma. Now we move on to the next box. We say the sound in this box, t. And now it's time to add the first bit, ma, to the second bit, t. Mat, mat. You see how it goes? You add one sound at a time with what you had previously blended. Ideally, you want to do a lot of drilling with this. So, if you're going to try successive blending, I like this way of presenting words. I feel it's very logical. It doesn't seem to overwhelm children, which is very important. Plus, it's the way I've seen words presented in Phonics pathways, which is the successive blending curriculum, in my opinion. If interested, in the video description, you'll find a link to download these worksheets for free. They include simple CVC words with the short A sound. And if you like them, by the way, let me know and I'll create a more complete resource so you can work on successive blending. However, you don't even need to use these to practice successive blending with your kid or with your student. You can just write your target words on a blank piece of paper and help him or her by covering the letters in the target word. Okay, let's say this is our target word now, mat again. So let's start with the first sound we see. What is it? Now you're gonna blend that sound you already have with the next one. That is ma. Okay, we already have ma. Now let's add the last sound, t. mat, mat. Once he or she's done enough practice, you may not need to use your fingers. The idea is that he or she will automate the process of reading, of blending sounds in a very natural way. Okay, so I hope you understand the difference now. Let's move on to a couple of important points to wrap up today's video. So with continuous blending, you're not gonna be able to hold all of the sounds, at least not for long. This is because in English, we have what we call stop sounds. What happens is that they kind of make you stop. You can't hold the sounds for long without distorting the sound. Try to hold the sound k or t or g for a long time. G. Oh my god, I end up distorting it. That sounds really bad. So what are we gonna do with those sounds if we're using continuous blending? Okay, to the best of your abilities, simply smoothly blend it to the next sound. For instance, say you have cat, k is a stop sound. So this is how I do it. Cat. Fortunately, there aren't so many stop sounds in English. And by the way, if you want a tip list of stop sounds versus continuous sounds, download one for free, links in the bio. Finally, the last point I wanted to raise is that in order to execute this technique correctly, actually any blending technique at all, it is super important that your child has learned his or her letter sounds without the sound at the end. So that's not ma, p, not pa, etc., etc. Anyway, story for another day. I don't want to extend for too long on this. I hope you found this video useful. If your child is struggling to blend sounds, I recommend you watch this video next. Bye and see you in the next video.